Look at that, man. How many of you guys have been sitting here all day? That is crazy. You guys are in for a real treat right now. You know what time it is. The cast is here. They are here to answer your questions, which means they're going to be coming out here in a second. Are you guys ready to meet them? All right, let's do this without further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, we first met her in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix as a quirky quality Ravenclaw, Luna Lovegood. Her real-life Harry Potter knowledge could rival anyone in this room. Please help me welcome Evanna Lynch! A member of Dumbledore's army and the Ravenclaw's seeker. Our next guest is the actress who portrayed Cho Chang. Please help me welcome Katie Leung! Now our next guest, Neville Longbottom, started his journey as a shy and clumsy and finished as a courageous hero. Please welcome to the stage, Matthew Lewis! Now she was the youngest of the Weasleys and the true love of Harry Potter. Please welcome the actress who played Ginny Weasley, Bonnie Wright! Now, ladies and gentlemen, our final guest portrayed one of Harry Potter's best friends. As Ron Weasley, he stood by Harry's side from the very beginning. Please help me welcome Rupert Grint! Guys, welcome. Welcome to the stage. You guys excited? All right, here's how this is gonna work, all right? We have our 4 people out in the audience fielding questions out there. We've got Rusty, Aaron, we've got Brian Wynn in the back, and Julia right there with the yellow scarf. Now, they're gonna be fielding the questions. So if you guys have questions for our panel up here, find them. We're gonna go around the room. We're gonna start off right now with Julia. Julia, you got somebody over there?
I sure do. I have Chelsea from Tampa, Florida. Hi. She has a question for the panel.
Yes, this is for all of you. Is there an experience that happened on set that helped mold the person you are today?
As in the character or them themselves?
Them yourselves.
All right. Is there something that happened on the set that helped mold you and what you are today? You as yourself. Evanna, you want to start that off?
Yeah, I could. Hello? Is this? Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, what was
Is there something that happened on the set that molded who you are? Not necessarily character,
wow.
but just you as Rupert.
Ooh, okay. I don't know, I think the whole experience was very educational, really, in many aspects, because it was our whole lives. We were there kind of all the time. I left school, and it was our lives. So, yeah, I think we were really lucky to have some great directors, and Warner Brothers were always amazing to us. And I can't really think of a specific moment, but yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. Sorry.
The same in that, like, not a moment, but it was like the feeling on set. Everyone was so nice, especially for me coming in halfway through the films as a fan. I was expecting to kind of feel different or to feel like they were, they were established and they belonged there. But everyone was just so nice to me and so friendly, and I think, it just made me feel so much at ease and able to settle in. And now it's just something that I try to do, I want to pass that on, just being friendly and reaching out to people when people seem shy or nervous, just try and talk to them, because that really helped so much. Yeah, that was nice.
I imagine if you spent the majority of your life on that set, it's a lot of movies spin around everybody in that storyline. It has a pretty big impact on you, whatever it may be. Does anybody else want to chime in on that?
I think one specific moment that really kind of made me think about who I was watching Helena Bonham Carter when she was doing her thing, and I just seeing her being so confident and yet playful and professional, and just being a bit crazy just made me think that I didn't have to feel so pressured in terms of, you know, being an incredible actor. I just had to just be comfortable with who I was. And yeah, I forget, I always remember when she's, from when I watched her acting. So yeah, that's...
It's gotta be fun to watch out there, just watching everybody else do their thing, immersed in that world, and just kind of, especially if you've seen them in other things. Anybody else have anything? It was good?
You know, I kind of echo the sentiments of everyone else. It's hard to pinpoint an exact moment, but you know, 10 years on the film like that, working with the people that we did, both cast and crew, I think my entire adult life has been defined and molded by that process. I don't think there's any actual markers that I can draw on, but just the whole process.
Absolutely. All right. Rusty, what do you got?
I've got Haley here from Arkansas. She has a question for everyone on the panel.
Hi guys, I love you. So, if you could transform into an animagus, what animal would you transform into?
You could turn into an animagus. What animal would you turn into?
Matthew.
Oh, I'm ready to hear this now, Matthew.
It's not that good. It's just I'm really fascinated with bonobo monkeys. And Rupert finds that hilarious. They're kind of like humans. I mean, they are basically just humans. So I'd be one of them. What would you be, Rupert?
Okay. Do you know what? I think I'd be a spider. Because I would be a spider. They're fear spiders.
Would it be a big spider or a small spider?
Sorry,
Would it be a big one or a small one?
no, a big one, yeah.
You gotta go big. If you're gonna go spider, go big or go home. Anybody else? All right. Aaron, do you have somebody out there?
I do. I have Shelby, who's from Tampa, with a question for the panel.
Hi, so excited.
So, question for you, since you guys have done Harry Potter for so long, does it still kind of affect how you choose your roles in like other films? Like I know Matt's doing Me Before You, but does it help or kind of hinder? Does it help you choose like what you want to play in other movies, or does Harry Potter help you in anything that you do now?
It's an interesting question. Has it molded your job choices from here?
Well, I mean, look, the doors that have been opened to me because of Harry Potter, you know, it's unprecedented. I mean, there's no way that I would be where I am in my career without it. The casting directors that I'm able to meet, the directors and producers that I'm able to meet, I think having a project like Harry Potter on your CV is incredible. It's invaluable, and I owe a lot to that. But I don't think that it's hindered or typecast me in any kind of way. I don't feel pigeonholed. The roles that I go up for and the roles that I have done recently have been so detached from Neville and Harry Potter. I have to grow a mustache for a start. Yeah, I mean, no, I think that Harry Potter has been a complete boon for me. It's been something that's opened like many opportunities.
Awesome.
I think for me, it like kind of set the bar, because it was the first job I ever did, and I absolutely loved it, and it didn't feel like work, you know. And I think that was something. It took me a while to be like, oh, this actually can be a job, and it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to like really suffer for your job. You can love it, and the more you love it, the better you are at it. And yeah, it's like, you know, since then, it's hard to find characters and projects that I love as much. And I think, like, I look back and maybe I'm more selective and maybe don't work as much, to be honest, because I want to find someone that I care about that much, you know? Yeah, that's what it is for me. I want to find characters that inspired me as much as Luna did. Because otherwise, I think what's the point, you know? Yeah, so definitely.
Agree with that. Brian, what do you got?
Yeah,
I've got
I just
David.
wanted-
Actually, no.
Hang on, Brian. Hang on real quick. Brian, hang on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that playing Cho Chang was amazing because when I got the role at the time, I felt like I was just myself, a Chinese girl who lived in the UK, and I didn't, you know, so I was just seen as a student of Hogwarts. It was nothing to do with my race, and having done Potter and then moved on to other projects, everything has been quite race specific, and down to, you know, the color of my skin. And I feel like with Harry Potter it was incredible, and it's something that I want to keep doing, to be able to play characters where it's not about the color of my skin and just about the person. So yeah.
Good answer. All right, Brian, what do you got?
Hey, I've got David from Dallas, who is on his honeymoon with his beautiful wife here.
Congratulations.
And he's got a great question for the panel.
So, if there's any one item or prop you could steal from the set, if you haven't done it already, what would it be and why?
He's looking to get you in trouble there.
I can't tell you what we really stole. Hypothetically, what would I take? I always really wanted my wand, although every time we did every scene, they literally almost checked them in and out. Like they were sort of these, I mean, they were obviously the most important prop in the film to us. So it's quite surreal when you come here and you had the experience of all of these Ollivanders and different things, and then there's just hundreds of the Ginny Weasley ones. I'm like, oh, can I have one of these?
Wait, can I take it? So you had to check your wand out and check it back in?
Yeah, they like counted them, and like sometimes you just took it away by accident, or often like sometimes there would be moments that one or two would get broken in, you know, in the heat of a battle, but that so that the prop guys wouldn't be your best friends when that happened. But yeah, so I take my wand. I also always used to want my Gryffindor jumper. Like I spent a lot of time in that Gryffindor jumper, so maybe I'll find one of them here as well.
Should ask him. If nobody else is gonna wear it, you might as well just have it. Anybody else have something they would take from the sets?
Well, I did. I did steal something. Fairly quite important, I think. Do you remember the golden egg? I can't remember which film it was from. Yeah, I took the egg. Yeah, I stole it and had to give it back almost immediately because it was quite an important egg. But yeah, apart from that, I did steal. I sound like a real thief. I took the number 4 of Privet Drive, so I have that.
How far did you make it with the egg?
Well, I got it in a pillowcase, and it was in a hotel. And someone from Warner Brothers. It was actually James and Oliver to blame as well. They were part of it. Yeah, and they caught up with me and said it was like worth $20,000. We need it back.
$20,000 in a pillowcase.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Rusty, what do you got?
I have Renya here from Canada. You might not be able to see her. She's a little shy, but she has a question for you guys. Go ahead, Renya. Oh, she wants me to ask it for her. She wants to know if you guys played any practical jokes on each other while you were doing the filming.
Any practical
Well, you
jokes?
look like you should be an honorary Weasley for sure.
She's very proud.
So you can definitely come over and we can pull some pranks at the Weasley house. We were quite, I mean, I felt like the laughter that we were pretty, like, every scene that we did at the Burrows took a long time. Like, I feel like we laughed a lot and we did a lot of, like, we always, like, wound Julie Walters up in the earlier films. James and Oliver were very good at pretending to be each other. I remember once there was a scene where you had to eat mince pies, and like every time we like ate one, we just like burst out laughing and like sprayed them everywhere. Yeah, you were good at laughing.
Yeah, I have a bit of a reputation for laughing in inappropriate moments.
It doesn't even have to be funny. You just laugh anyways.
Yeah, I know. It can be it's like the most ridiculous moments. It's usually the most serious moments. Like Dumbledore's funeral. That scene. I know, it's horrible, isn't it? Like this, I've got a problem. I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Anybody else? I know James and Oliver said they always switched roles. That was their big thing, is they always would pretend to be somebody else, but they said it got real old after a couple, because everybody was like, all right, calm down. We got it. It's good. All right, Julia.
Yes, I am over here with Emily from Toronto, Canada, with a question for the panel.
Hi. Friendship is such a strong theme throughout all of the books and all of the movies. I'm wondering if you guys can tell us about your real-life best friends.
Wow. Never heard that one before.
Wow.
That's a good one.
I don't have any friends.
It's because you stole everything.
Yes, that's right. Oh, yeah.
How about in one word, can you describe your best friend?
My best mate, Nick, he works in recruitment, and he's the most irritating man on the entire world. That's all I'm going to say about him. 'Cause he doesn't deserve to have this on this stage.
Sounds like a good friend.
I love him.
Anybody else? It's hard.
I'd say honest.
Honest?
Yeah, all my best friends are very honest with me, and they're not afraid to tell me when I'm doing something wrong. And I think that's really important because it keeps you grounded.
Keeps you in check, yeah. It's good. It's a good trait for a best friend.
Mine are really like playful and silly and dare each other to do something worse and worse and just make everything really embarrassing and awkward. That's kind of my comfortable state, awkwardness. Friends like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like my friends. All right, Aaron, what do you got?
I have Layla here from Scranton, PA. She has a very fun question for the panel. Layla. Hi, Rupert.
Hey.
I was just wondering, out of all of the stunts that you guys got to do, what one was like your favorite, the most fun that you got to do?
Out of all the stunts you got to do, which one was your favorite, if you got to do any?
The one that looks really fun is Quidditch. We were talking about this earlier, but actually in reality it's quite an interestingly technical and slightly painful thing to do. I remember obviously Ginny only plays Quidditch through the later films, but I was really excited when that came about in the books, and I knew that I would be getting up on that broom. But it basically is like an electronic arm, and you're basically attached to the broomstick. Almost like a seatbelt, and you're like on a bicycle seat that's attached to the broom. And even though obviously a lot of it is put in by computer or visual effects afterwards, a lot of the actual movements are real movements. In fact, like the ride here did kind of simulate that same feeling, but it's quite painful. You're strapped in, you actually have to have quite a lot of core muscle to like be span around lots. So I would say it was interesting, but it was quite challenging.
My favourite one that I did was the blowing up of the bridge in the final movie. We built like quite a large section of the bridge in the 007 soundstage at Pinewood Studios, where naturally they filmed James Bond, etc. And James Bond were actually booked to go back into the stage like the next day, so we had to get it done on that day, and they'd rigged it all to blow up, and I'd be stood on it and I'd run, and then I'd step off the bit that was about to blow up just in time for that to all collapse, and I'd duck out of shot, and it was all going to be seamless and perfect, and we had one go at it, and we did it, and it was fine, and it was brilliant. And then we used to shoot on film, and if you got a hair on the gate at the end of it, you'd have to basically redo the entire thing, and it was no fault of anyone, no technical fault, no human error. It's just these things happen, and that happened, and we had to rebuild the bridge and do the whole thing again before James Bond came in like the next day.
How long did it take them to rebuild that bridge?
Oh man, they knocked it up pretty quick. They're pretty impressive, those guys. I mean, they weren't happy about it, but they did it. And then the next take, we did it again. And I mean, I was perfect both times.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't your fault.
No.
Anybody else? All right. Brian, what do you got?
Hey, I got Adriana and Taylor all the way from Hollywood, Florida. And they've got a great question for the panel.
Hi, thank you so much for being here.
I love you, Rupert.
I love you too.
What was your favorite movie to work on and why?
Which one was your favorite movie to work on and why?
So many for different reasons. I love the Chamber of Secrets because for that, obviously, Virginia's role was a huge part. And in the first film, I was obviously just at platform 9 3/4. So in terms of the performance I had to give in that was just a whole new world to me, and I learned a lot. And I really, really loved working with Christopher Columbus on that film. I often think he's sometimes forgotten for the amazing work that he really did achieve on those first two movies. And yeah, it was quite enjoyable but challenging to be in all those scenes in the Chamber of Secrets, and then be finally, after weeks and weeks of lying on the floor, finally be woken up by Harry when he gets the basilisk fang into the diary. So I would say the Chamber of Secrets for me was really when it became, I guess it was acting then at that point.
It's like real for you at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, the same. Particularly the first film, I think that was a very special moment because it was all completely new. I sent in a video to this TV show, and I was a huge fan of the books. Suddenly I was on this amazing set, kind of living it for real, and it blew my mind. And yeah, it was a very special time of my life. Yeah, so I'll always remember that.
My favorite one was the sixth one because it was fun. There were quite a lot of fun scenes. There was the Slughorn's Christmas party, and there was the Quidditch matches, and I always liked the ones that weren't so serious, those kind of scenes, because those we would just play, and you wouldn't feel pressure. And also, like, that was when I kind of settled into it. Like the fifth movie, I was just in constant terror that they were just gonna fire me. Just gonna fire me, get this creepy fan out of here. So it was like number 6, I started to feel like myself and more confident and feel like one of the family. And yeah, the costumes got even better. The lion hat was kind of top costume. It was fun.
I think mine was probably the fourth film. It's my favorite book, and also it's like Rupert. It was everything was new to me, so I was just completely overwhelmed by everything, and I just remember it all because it was just so exciting, just to be behind the scenes and yeah, fourth one.
Matthew, you got anything for that one?
Yeah. I guess probably Deathly Hallows Part 2, I think. Because the character of Neville, I had such an important role towards the end of that movie with, you know, the killing of the snake and things like that, and then the journey that Neville takes. I just really enjoyed that whole process, and working closely with David Yates on that final movie was a lot of fun, and that's the one that I just, the hell is that? I had the most fun doing. Yeah.
That was a pivotal turning point for your character too. That was when everything like came full circle on that.
Yeah, it was kind of, you know, it was a culmination of the whole story arc of Neville Longbottom. You know, is the idea of, you know, taking this little shy, bumbling kid and turning him into that hero that Joe wrote in the stories, and it was all right there in that final script, in that final movie, and to have the opportunity to play that was fantastic.
Awesome. Rusty, what do you got?
I have Lynette here from Florida, and she has a question for the panel.
What was the hardest thing for you to, what was the most challenging scene for each of you?
What was the most challenging scene for each of you?
I would say in the battle, in the final film, there was the moment that I obviously thought for one brief moment that Harry was dead, and I run out towards Voldemort, and my dad, Mr. Weasley, grabs me. And in that moment, it was just so incredibly still on the entire set, and the energy just felt so, I mean, it completely shifted in that moment. It was such a, I mean, the performance that Ray Fiennes gave, that, I mean, no one needed to almost act themselves. They were completely chilled to their core, and running out after his big moment was quite a thing to follow. So I would say that was really challenging. I mean, I found a lot of that film was incredibly sad for all of us, because there was this idea of this, this ending that was near for us, and there was, at all times, it could go either way in terms of what we were performing in this, good versus evil. So it was a very emotional film, I would say, that one. So yeah, that was a challenge.
I'd say for me it was Dobby's death scene on the beach. Yeah, because it was obviously sad, and it was just hard to get the balance right for Luna, because she is so full of light. Like, she doesn't, while everyone else is worrying about their exams, she's just looking at the sky, that kind of thing. So it was hard to kind of make her serious and to feel what that would be like, and it really felt very sad. And also the fact, technically it was weird because we didn't have Dobby, This would constantly surprise me on the films as a fan, having seen them on the screens, be like, oh, they're not going to walk on here. And yeah, there was just a tiny little lady who had a really strong Cockney accent. She'd be like, all right. She would hop into Dan's arms, and it just kind of changed it a bit. So it was both very sad and comical at the same time. So it was just strange.
Anybody else?
I think the hardest scene for me to film was definitely the kiss. Just because there was so much anticipation, and therefore a crazy amount of pressure to getting it right. And also I had this stupid fringe, bangs, you call it in America, and I couldn't see through my hair. And I really regret that haircut, by the way. But yeah, so that was hard, especially because everybody was watching.
How many people do you think were on the set when you guys were doing that scene watching? If you had to guess.
Well, I think we were quite lucky in the sense we had a closed set, so we had kind of the minimal amount of people on watching, and then everyone else, and then hundreds of people behind the set. But it was very technical, and I remember being told by David Yates when to turn our heads, so it wasn't very romantic at all.
Was that your first kiss, or just your first on-screen kiss?
First kiss? Oh, it was my first kiss? No.
On screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
First on screen. Yeah, I was 17.
Matthew, what about you?
What is it, my go, is it? Right, I don't know. What's the question? The most difficult, most challenging, yeah. I think probably there's a scene in, I don't know which film it's in, when Neville explains to Harry what happened to his parents, and we had to sort of condense Neville's backstory into that scene, because unfortunately we lost the scene in St. Mungo's where we actually see his parents, and so we had to really convey so much and tell so much in that scene to try and explain really why Neville is as he is, and why he then goes on to have so much courage later on. And so I remember that being quite a challenge, just because I just felt quite a lot of pressure there to make sure we did that story justice, to make, for people who hadn't read the book, to make the character of Neville ultimately not so much make sense but ring true. So I felt a great deal of pressure with that particular scene.
Awesome. Julia, what do you got?
I've got Chase with me from New Orleans.
Hi. I would like to know from each of you, if possible, if either in your first film or when somebody came in new, if you had any on-set crushes. And for the girls, it can be a girl crush.
What about the guys? Can they have guy crushes?
I had a crush on Matt.
I know, mate.
Doesn't everybody? Little sideburns. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think I always knew. There was just a twinkle in your eye. I just kind of.
At least it's mutual.
Do you want to swap places? Get a bit.
Anybody else? Just thinking about it. Look, he puts his shades on. He's putting his sunglasses on.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
We should make some up. We could just make some up. I don't know.
well, I do know a few. I mean, I probably shouldn't say. Yeah.
You open that one up.
I don't know. I don't think I could. They're not here.
They're not. Oh, nuts. No!
Oh no! Oh no!
All right, we'll let that one rest.
Let me just say, by the time I got on number 5, it had a feeling of everything had went down on number 4. That's how I felt anyways. It was just like drama had happened, had passed. And then
Everybody had been
everyone
together
was
for so long at that point. It was like brother, sister, like,
I think so, yeah.
All right, where's Aaron at?
Right over here.
What do you got?
On this a few minutes ago, but she does have a question for the panel.
Hi, I'm Sonia from Orlando. I was just wondering if there was anything in the book, scene-wise, that you guys did not get to portray in the film, and if you did, what was it?
Well, I mean, mine would obviously it would be that scene that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, the St. Mungo's scene. I would have very much liked to have shot that. We tried, we wanted to, but we ran out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of Ginny that I feel sad that I never was able to play in the movies out of the books. I would say a lot of the Quidditch, I don't think she never really stepped into that moment enough. And I also think just in terms of how important she was, I mean, in terms of the relationship that Ginny has with Harry and how that really stems from like a real true friendship and support that sort of was born out of Dumbledore's army and all those moments. I would have loved to explore more, but I guess unfortunately 500, 600 page novels are quite hard to put into 2-hour movies. But yeah.
I would say there's a few characters that I kind of missed. Peeves. Which I thought was played brilliantly by Rick Mail. I think he was never seen in the films.
Yeah, well, I mean, we tried to shoot it.
Yeah.
We tried to shoot Rick Mail as Peeves, the lit, great, magnificent Rick Mail, but it was just too funny. I don't think any of us could ever get through any of it.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately never made the final cut, which was a real shame.
I'm quite resentful of the fact I never got to play Quidditch, in spite of you guys saying how painful it was to be up there. So it would have given an extra layer to Cho, so she wasn't just crying all the time.
Evanna, do you have anything?
I was disappointed I didn't get to commentate the Quidditch match. Because sport, even on brooms in the air, bores me to tears. And I like the fact that Luna commented on other things, like their personal feelings and things like that. I thought it would have livened it up a bit. And it was originally in the script, but didn't make it. So that was sad.
More of a color commentator than anything.
What's that?
She's more of a color commentator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brian, what do you got out there?
Hey, I got Lauren from New York City.
Hi, you're all wonderful. Thank you for being here. My question is, if you could choose one spell from the Harry Potter universe to use at your leisure, which spell would you choose and why?
Which spell and why?
I'm quite fond of Wingardium Leviosa. I don't know why I would. That's what does it do? It levitates things. Doesn't it? Yeah, I just make things levitate. That's what I do. Yeah.
You could have levitated the egg out of there, and not had to sneak it out in the pillow sack.
It would have really helped.
Invisibility cloak as a kid would be pretty cool, like sneaking into things. And what's the one where they're actually like objects and you go to them and then you can be transported to another one? They're like portals. Port keys, yeah. I mean, travel would be amazing. You just hop around the world whenever you wanted. Be great.
Hawaii.
Yeah, done.
Go on.
Done.
Is it when you want to? Is it Accio when you want to bring something to? Yeah, Accio. I pronounced it wrong. So I could find my house keys, which I lose all the time. What was that? So yeah, TV remote, all that kind of stuff that I just constantly lose all the time. I could just do that spell and it'd come to me. To be honest.
I think mine's the same actually. I think I'm at that age now where like I think of something, I need to go up and get it, and by the time I'm in that room, I forget what it is, and it's just like it's such a waste of time. So that would be really useful. Simple pleasures.
Didn't really work though, did it? It was the same thing to remember. Mine would be just expecto patronum, because I think that's a really powerful thing to be able to summon happy feelings when you feel really, really dark. And I think it's a spell like you can, well, not the spell, but it's a practice you can use in real life without magic, but it is a kind of magic, So yeah, expecto patronum, and you get a cool little silvery pet dancing around.
Can't beat that. Julia, what do you got?
Caitlin and Lexi with me from Long Island, New York. Hi. You guys are awesome. So, what is your favorite lines and why?
Favorite lines?
What's your favorite line in the movie and why?
Oh, I love when Mrs. Weasley says a great line to Bellatrix. I shouldn't probably say the last word of the sentence. Well, I guess you've all seen it, so. But she's about to attack me, and she says, "Step away from my daughter, you..."
Witch.
You witch. Yeah, you witch.
Nailed it.
That's a great moment that they had so much fun doing. You can see that was, yeah, so that was great. To be in between that slightly was a great feeling.
That's awesome. I can only imagine.
Oh God. Probably she needs to sort out her priorities. It's quite hard to remember lines actually. Bloody hell, I said a lot.
I really like the Gary Oldman one, because he's just absolutely brilliant when he says it, when he's like, "I did my waiting, 12 years of it in Azkaban." I always really love that. He's such a brilliant actor. And every time he does that line, I always get the chills. It's really cool.
Anybody else?
I don't actually know if it's in the film, but it's a line that so I did this really embarrassing thing when I was like 12. I painted all my favorite Harry Potter quotes on my bedroom wall, and I haven't had the heart to change it yet. Even though people come in and they just kind of raise their eyebrows because it's awkward. But I have, one of my favorite ones that I have is the one that Kingsley Shacklebolt says about Dumbledore, where he says, "You might disagree with him on many counts, but you cannot deny he's got style." Yeah, so cool. And it's just like, hell yes, Dumbledore.
Does have style. All right. Rusty, it's the last question.
I've got Maddie from Pennsylvania, and she has a great question for the panel.
Hi, just so you know, it's great to see you. You're all huge inspirations and I love you so much. And my question is, if your character had a theme song, what would it be?
Anything by John Williams, surely.
Good choice.
It's a good question. Never thought about that. Ed Sheeran. Lego house. I
Just pick the slow stuff to walk around to.
I had one that I used to listen to as Luna. Strange Magic by Yellow. So lovely and dreamy and weird. It was perfect.
Fits it perfectly. Anyone else?
I was thinking Bjork. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, So Quiet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ah, there's so much. It's such a great question. I'd love to actually sit down and think, I don't know, probably like the Frog Chorus by Paul McCartney or something like that. Don't cheer that song, it's awful. It's something like that.
That's what you walk around to.
No, it seemed quite apt for Neville, that was all. I don't know. It's a great question, I'm gonna go away and think about that. Can someone ask that again, like tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not like we're doing this again, so you know. There's plenty of time to do it. She's like, I'll be there. I'll ask it again. Look at those glasses, those are great. Well, you know what, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you guys. Thank our panel for coming out here and answering all your questions. Thank you guys for coming out and answering. Give one more big round of applause to the cast of Harry Potter! Thank you guys.